Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Psychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikas Rajiv, guys. Welcome to the show. And yes, what an awesome topic too we have today. Before we jump in the topic, I just want to tell the people that I have a new format of some of the videos. Like you saw, I have a new kind of monologue that I start doing, right? Because if I really think about it, I started with just images and video with sounds and music. That's how I started doing my first videos about flat earth. And from there, then I started using narrations, not my narrations, sometimes even robotic with image and different researchers. And then started doing the podcast. Then I started using my own voice in the podcast and in the documentary. And then after was in one of the documentary, and now I have started doing monologue, in a way, like podcast style, right? Because I think different time, different formats. So I think now the time is right for doing that kind of content too. So do check out a couple of videos that I've shared in the last 2 days, some monologues. Yeah. And for sure, if I see more support, maybe I continued that too. So yeah, awesome. Today I just got my co-host and my good brother Gene with me. So Gene, how are you?
Hey, Vika, what's up, brother? Doing great. As usual, the week went so fast. But last week's show was awesome, bro. It just was mind blowing to go through that show. It was like, wow, the whole show, and I have a feeling this show is going to be the same way, right? Uh, Emerald tablets or something. I'm not too familiar with, but I can tell you guys, I'm not sure where the show's going to go because they talk about so much stuff that's going on today. You'd be surprised how many current events done by certain people are reflected off the emerald tablets that are supposedly about 36,000 years old or something like that. Imagine that. My mind's blown already, but Vika, I can't wait, bro, to hear what you have to say. And yeah, we can go into so many different subjects like alchemy and kymatics, holograms that could actually pick physical things up. So some of this stuff might it's coming from like ancient past, but it might sound future sci-fi. It's pretty crazy, man. I can't wait to get into the show. So I don't want to talk too much about it right now because we'll let it unfold by itself, I guess. So yeah, great show coming up, Vika. Thanks for putting it on, and I'm glad to hear everything's going well over there. And you had a busy week too, but everything's kind of following a good path for you right now with what happened and everything. So that's really good news. And so yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for coming back too. If you're not here for the first time, so thanks guys. We're great to see everybody. Enjoy the show. Put your mental seatbelts on because this is gonna be really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. The last time show was really deep, and everything that we discuss here all is interrelated. So what we're gonna be discussing today too, is gonna be it is related, right? So yeah, do get comfortable, get your coffee or whatever makes you relax, and let's jump in like the emerald tablets, lost technologies, and Mr. Billy Carson being a sellout, right? Why and this? Because okay, we are gonna get into it more deeper. But this is the thing. He is so much into aliens.
Yeah,
He's so
planets.
much, yeah, and he's also into the emerald tablets. He's is also into archaeology. He's like almost like the Indiana Jones of these times. Like he's going
Right.
and discovering things, archaeologically connecting with the aliens, right? Even the now he's trying to connect the Gobekli Tepe, also Tepe. Also, he's got in Turkey. He's trying to connect with all these alien things. The same thing with the Sumerians, right?
Egypt.
The Egypt, right?
Yep.
And he is one of the biggest denier of flat Earth. You know, he literally says the people who believe in flat Earth are garbage, and that their brain is sucked out from their head, from their skull. Literally his word,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, so he's coming from the opposition. It's a controlled opposition, a controlled burn, whatever you want to call it. You see, guys, how they let a little information out through all of these different characters, and then they fall short. Boom. They're gatekeepers.
Exactly, like like Joe Rogan, right? Is
Oh,
another
yeah.
uh, like they take the real research, they take the real truth, and they twist it. And I think Billy Carson is no different, because there is a lot of truth they put together, but if they sprinkle one lie, you're totally off track.
Yeah, well, that means you got to look out for other ones too, then. And like, as soon as any of the good guys, quote unquote, talk about planets, I'm like, ah,
Exactly, because he in his research uses all the ancient cosmologies, all
right.
the alien agenda stuff, all the technological stuff, all the scientific stuff. You're taking everything from the ancients, and then you're calling your whole research is based on the knowledge of the ancients, and then you're calling them that no, that they cannot, how can they believe in flat earth, right? Or geocentric earth, right? And how he can even do himself like that, no? Right? Because all of their cosmologies, all the ancient ones he studies, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Vedics, the Sumerians, uh, and the rest, right? They all have the creation story is a geocentric stationary earth,
And the
right?
picture, and the
And
similar
the
picture to go
pictures,
with it.
exactly, all over. So how can you are calling out the flat earthers and saying that the earth is a globe, right?
Really.
So that's one of the biggest red flags, right? Because even uh the emerald tablet, because he's using it so he can twist his things in his way, right? Maybe the real teachings of the emerald tablet is totally something else, but he is using it same like the people who used in the 2012, right? They made movies, they made books, they made everything that the world is gonna end, right? In 2012.
Oh, with the Mayan calendar.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So he's doing the same thing, but with the emerald tablets, right? So we're gonna look a little bit about the emerald tablets and everything a bit related to it, like the different civilizations. Cool.
You know what? The learning about the emerald tablets recently reminds me a lot of the Antikythera mechanism. How this ancient technology can be lost or hidden or suppressed or destroyed through whatever means, natural or created events, that we just don't have this information anymore. And then the information gets distorted and used against us also. So, but it just reminds me of this these together, because if somebody does have this technology, then it just tells us that. So the Antikythera mechanism was 1,400 years prior to any other gear system working in public. So that tells me that there's quite possibly a civilization walking around that's 1,400 years advanced, given the fact that there's no history to it. Or so very little, like kind of hints towards it, maybe here and there throughout history. Nothing, no solid concrete leads to the history of it, to the progress of it. So it's isolated, and that that could mean a lot more than they're leading us to believe.
Exactly, because the timelines, as we said, 2,000 years old, 5,000 years old, 6,000 years old, is not making sense. Because if there's
No,
even a bit of truth to these tablets or this information or this knowledge, man, 38,000 years old, right? Even if you
yeah,
cannot say half. So, in reality, even the technologies like Antikythera mechanism could be of that time or earlier, because it doesn't make sense. Even 2000 years old doesn't make sense. The people 2000 years ago also couldn't have grasped all these cycles, because these cycles are so huge. They're in
yeah.
thousands of years, right?
Right. And they're so minute, and the differences between from night to night. The differences are so minute that most people, that do watch the moon and these celestial events don't even notice until it's old. It's pretty incredible. It's more than incredible.
Exactly. So it's the real thing out of the tablets is supposed to be that they are supposed to give the philosopher's stone, like alchemy, right? Medicine, technology, right? Genetics, right? So wisdom, like real wisdom, right? Immortality, right? Also, in a way, right? You could take it literally or through some stuff by alchemy or by philosopher's stone, right? So before we get into that, this is the thing: the Antikythera mechanism is quite possible that this is not a Greek technology, nor it's Vedic, nor it's could be from the Atlantean time. It's totally possible that it's from the Atlantean time. And if it's true, it's literally showing that the Earth is geocentric. Even if the as I said, if the globe is, even if it's 500 years old, we give them, like, benefit of doubt. 500 years, take it,
Right.
right? The rest, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago, since the time of existence, it's geocentric, right? It's
And you got to consider that all the star systems from back then line up to today. And with all the motions going on for thousands of years, you can't have the same star system because that's just impossible. And their explanation of it is hokey because for thousands of years, really, guys? Come on, we're adults. It's impossible. It can't happen. It doesn't happen either. They just took the story that we're trying to talk about and they wrapped it around a ball and reverse engineered it all. That's why it works.
exactly. Exactly. Because in the chat, Robin is saying time is manipulated easily, right?
Yeah,
So
really, Robin, right? They take an hour, they bounce an hour around every 6 months on us.
exactly, and even the timeline, right? The timelines they are telling us could be also totally manipulated. Uh,
Yeah. Hey, Robin, thanks for all the links you put up last week. That's really cool. Very thoughtful. Thank you. I wish I
Matthew,
I wish I could do the chat and talk at the same time. I'm just so terrible at that. And if I get on the
eh,
chat, guys, I want to tell you right now, I hit backspace, enter instead of backspace. If you see half a sentences, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. A big shout out to Matthew Dragrerio. I hope I get this time for the membership. Big shout out to you, brother. That really helps. So the Emerald tablets, one of the main features that people take and talk about the Emerald tablet is because they all want immortality through a philosopher's stone, right? They they think that by mixing different chemicals and uh, that they're gonna reach somewhere, right? Like you could have eternal life or unlimited wealth. How about both? Like the philosopher's stone, a substance that can turn base metal into gold, right? It's the same thing. We are speaking about technology, right? The Atlanteans or the aliens, or because there's always technology involved, right? There's like how do you say you they are luring these entities or whoever wrote these tablets to, like they're luring people or people who have wisdom, luring them immortality, technology, wisdom, health, right? There's supposedly also a book called Book of Aquarius, which tells you literally how to, through alchemy, make this philosopher's stone. Right? It is said that the Arabs got from the Egyptians, and the Egyptian got from the Sumerians, and the Atlantis. They got it from the Atlantis. That's what is they say about the Emerald tablets. But the philosopher's stone, right? There's different views about it. Some people think it's like a when you make it, it's like a white powder. It's also called white gold or something. And maybe you guys have heard when they say that the Egyptians used to eat this philosopher's stone, right? Some kind of white powder or crystals, right? I don't know how much truth is to there. That is it even possible to make something like this? But crystals, yeah, crystals. You never know what it may contain. Maybe it's an extract, right?
Right, that's what I'm thinking, bro. It might be off of a plant.
Exactly, because there is one kind of psilocybin, mushroom psilocybin, that
Right.
it's called the philosopher's stones, the truffles, right? You have the
Oh.
normal truffles that they're kind of mushrooms, which are like comestibles, like you could eat them, but then there are ones which are magic, like psilocybin, right? uh
Yeah, like Mario's hat, the mushroom, the red, was it
no,
red?
no, that one is Amanita muscaria. These ones are
Okay.
like, these are ones are like almost like in ground, and they looks more like tuberculosis, no, like tubes,
Okay.
uh tube balls, right? They are like kind of mycelium, but they also have another word for it. It's called philosopher's stone. And these can be the real philosopher's stone, because these things have a lot of information and wisdom inside these, you know so could have been an extract of that, right?
Wow.
No, just
That's what it sounds like. Plants are our medicine, right? That's what pharmaceuticals do. They go find plants that heal and then go reproduce it to make it harmful.
exactly. So even Newton was behind this, right? Trying to They even say that he got insane because of that, trying to make the philosopher's stone.
And gold. You were mentioning a lot of gold, right? And the emerald tablets. It reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. He followed the yellow brick road, the gold road to the Emerald City.
right? And it could be also that the gold, maybe it's talking about the spirit, right? The gold, the golden flame, right?
Sure.
So they also connect with the thought, right? The Egyptian god thought. They say that he lived for more than 16,000 years, and he had different incarnations, different times.
But bro, is it was it him that they said would sleep for 100 and walk around for 900 and go recharge for 100 years and sleep, come back and do another 900? Is that story? Or was that more commonplace back then?
I think it was more common, he because he was more special according to them. Like he was more, like he could come when he wanted, right?
Mm,
So maybe the people, or maybe a different race, they could have done that, right? Or the
sure.
Atlanteans themselves, right, could have done that.
Oh, sure. They were so advanced. We can't even imagine. Like we they were so advanced that we would think of them as futuristic. Like like I said, science fiction. They were so advanced.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to add to when about the timing and all this, right? Also, we were speaking. So we could imagine, like, if we take some people or cavemans or some tribal people who have never seen any civilization, and we take them, and we put in the middle of New York, for example, with nobody,
I
right?
think they did that already.
Exactly. So what are they gonna see around, and all the technology? They won't gonna understand everything. So the same way we can think that we think we are like really the at the height of technology. We are the pinnacle of technology. We human as a race, but it's totally possible that all these ancient, we call them the ancient construction. You're right. All the Star Forts and all this amazing stuff, right? Maybe are done the same. We are taken from somewhere and put some in a place that was a very advanced civilization, like much more than we could imagine. So for us, we are thinking, yeah, this is ancient stuff, because just because we don't understand the real use, the real purpose, right? Because I think they say that we don't have the context, right? We don't have the context of or take a mobile phone and give to a caveman, right? They don't know. They don't have the context of Wi-Fi and
Yeah.
internet, and they're gonna see it's like a piece of glass and throw it, right? So it's the same thing that could be happening to us, right? We are seeing this stuff and we are like, yeah, you know, or the pyramids, or the constructions in the Vedic constructions, the temples, right? Or the
Yeah,
Stonehenge.
and the
Yeah,
cathedrals with the cathedrals also maybe a little
exactly.
newer,
Exactly.
right? With the
So
chromatic windows the pipe organs and the bells and the star forts near the water. There's still no
ex-
real explanation for any of these things.
exactly. And there also even enter technologies like anti-guitar mechanism, and how many much more stuff there have to be, because this is the thing
Yeah,
also. The Billy Carson also is that doing that too. He's saying that these people, or the controllers, they are 300 years ahead of us, right? That in technology wise they are 300 years ahead of us, whoever is controlling.
military, right?
Yeah, but we know
science and
we know at
military.
least it's we know at least that it's at least it's 1500 years or more. We know
Well,
that, right?
I think it has to be because you know what, man? There's history, but nothing about the Anaconda. There's nothing really concrete to point to it. So it's wishy washy, you know.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yet here it is, and then you get the Emerald tablets. It kind of hints toward the same thing, even worse. But you're right. Where you know there should be more about these things. 'Cause who knows what really happened? It was like I was saying, is it man made? Are they hidden? Did they get lost? Is that why you know how much of this country alone is cordoned off? Where it's yeah, go ahead, free travel across highways and bridges, but then there's plenty of places where we're not allowed to go. You know, don't forget, like 80% of the Grand Canyon is off limits for safety reasons.
Exactly, because even if we can't imagine what it's gonna would have been like us in 1400 years in the future, we could have. Can you imagine how much it could be
Right.
if it's 30, 40,000 years timeline? It changes everything. It changes everything.
Well,
That's why these people, yeah, come in the picture. Yeah, go ahead.
now but think about it. When I was saying before that, there's rumors that they have holograms that can actually, you know, pick things up. The vibration is so high, I guess, and so controlled that that's what they're able to do. So I don't know how advanced that would be. That sounds crazy to me, though. So, like, in other words, I guess don't let your imagination, don't let the world be your imagination of the limitation of your imagination. There it is. Because there's got to be, you know, like we said, I said, I know when I was a kid walking around that the military was at least 50 years ahead of us. That's what we would talk. That's what we would talk about. We're like, yeah, no problem. Look at the stuff they're putting out now. CDs were coming out and stuff. We're like, oh, and we kind of knew it was most of that stuff comes from military stuff. Even if it's entertainment, it was like weaponry or surveillance before that.
Exactly, and the gyroscope and the different version of gyroscope. This could all be like old tech, right? And the constructions, the way they have built and the purpose and and the moving parts they have, the information that is coded, uh, right?
Yeah, and the different ways to transmit and receive information also that we don't even know. Like radio waves, you know. Well, like we do know radio waves, but there could be more to that than we're thinking. Like 5G, how many different types of bandwidths do they have? We don't really know what the capabilities are.
Exactly, and also he himself says that even Nikola Tesla got his all his invention from the Egyptians or from the books, right? Because the pyramids, he said, used to do the same effect, right, of distributing energy through towers, right? And there could be truth to that, and there could be radio transmission, there could be have been electricity, there could have been more than we could imagine because they are saying Tartaria, this, that. They are connecting the free energy with the Tartaria, but it could have been through Egypt or much more ancient or Sumerians or Proto Sumerians or Proto Vedic, right?
Sure. But even on a grand scale, the buildings got smaller, it seems, from the pyramids down. The cathedrals are tremendous, but they're still small comparison.
Exactly. For example, the pyramid. The pyramid is how big is the pyramid? and but we could imagine the interiors of the and the flooring and the tiles and the pillars which holds and everything, and how to move them and all this stuff. Could we can't even imagine even today, right?
Nah, anyway, is there any design to that? You know, like any kind of blueprint to show any kind of how, any direction of how they did any of that? How they cut it, how they moved it, how they built it? Is there anything? Maybe in the hieroglyphs that I'm not sure of? But to
But
put something like that together now, it would be, first of all, impossible. But I don't even think we could level the ground of this with footprint on that.
exactly, so it sounds so fake when they tell that with chisel and hammer and with copper tools that these people
Yeah.
made that. It doesn't make sense. It's just so
Nah,
fake, like any everything that they feed the masses is so fake.
yeah. I mean, if it
With the
was
camels, with the elephant, the people there,
slaves,
like in the, it's so
it is. It's a joke. It's a story for kids.
exactly.
You know, that's why they put these crazy ideas in our heads as children.
Exactly. That's why they don't want the timeline, because they speak about also the Sphinx, and they speak about the Egypt was green, right? It was a
Right.
flourishing civilization, right?
Yeah.
And why is also
Water.
exactly. So why is also the similarities of the cosmologies? Because it can be that all the information comes the root from the same, as we spoke about, right? The religion wise and many different things.
And why would they build something like the pyramids to mimic the stars in the first place? Whether they knew they were going to move or not, if they thought they were moving and were going to move, and it, does it really make sense? That bugs me. That's what they tell us, that oh, they just watched the stars because they had nothing better to do. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think I ever really believed that one. Like, nah, there's more to it than that. They had to worry about animals and how to feed themselves, and keeping water out of their house and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think anything the way they explain the old world is anything true, anything even close to it.
oh yeah, we know that the ancient structures, the pyramid or the pyramid in the Americas, many different constructions, they all serves a purpose, right? They all have information decoded, right? Because he was Billy, he speaks also about this, because he have taken the knowledge and he's twisted it, right? Because we all know, but because he's gone so deep, because him and for sure many different archaeologists or the people who are studied, they're trying to decode that, because they say the pyramid latitude is supposed to be the speed of light, right? They say the scale of the pyramid is supposed to be, if you scale it up 432,000 times, is the diameter or the circle of the earth, right?
Right?
It,
Yeah.
so you see the number 4032, it's like the same, like 432,000 kilometers is the moon, right? It's just using the number, the frequency, right? Which is maybe
That,
really decoded in the pyramid, but they are twisting it for their benefit, right?
isn't that like the golden sound vibration that we're supposed to hear things at, and they changed it to from 432 to 440, right?
The same, yeah, the difference of the frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
the other thing, yeah, go ahead.
nice. Just look how important that is.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And this is the thing also, because there are a couple of other people who also speak about that the pyramid represents the northern hemisphere. of the earth. Okay, the pyramid have the, it's a scale that you have all the mathematics inside, that if you do some calculation, it gives you the exact uh, dimensions of the earth, for example, of the northern hemisphere. But if you really look into it, have you seen the the tree of the Incan or the Mayan flat earth cosmology? It looks like a tree on a flat, and you have the pyramid in the middle. Have you seen that? For sure, is we are, there are many when you see all the cosmologies together, image like memes, you see one that is like a tree with a pyramid in the middle. That's I think it's Mayan cosmology, right? It's saying the same thing, so they have taken things from all these places and put it up. But I think there is truth coded in pyramid, right? So why is there no southern hemisphere, right? Where is the southern hemisphere representation? It's only the northern hemisphere, because it's the only hemisphere that exists in reality on a flat plane, right? The south is, all is rest is south. So twisting the information, right, for their own benefit, right? So it's just one example, is the pyramid, right? There's so many different other things that exist, right? As I said, even I think even the Stonehenges and stuff, Gobekli Tepe and many
Easter
similar.
Island,
Yeah,
any of them, right, bro? They they
exactly.
they gatekeep all of this stuff because they can't hide it all. I guess they're not. They destroyed what they could, with and then they just lie about the rest of it.
Exactly, to fit the agenda, right? That's why it doesn't make sense. No, you are taking everything from there and then just twisting it to your own belief, because you want to sell. Because what sells, right? Space sells, alien sells. We are not saying aliens don't exist. We are not saying maybe they exist, but not out of space, maybe outer lands, right? It's possible that some race, an intelligent race, came over here and wanted all this, right? Or maybe it was already a civilization existing here, and then we were brought here, right? With all screwed up timeline and all reset and everything, right? Because as I said, all they tell us what happened in the last 100 years, it looks so fake, right? It looks so made up, right? How advanced we got, right? From the
Yeah,
industrial revolution to now, right? And there's 500 years of missing history in the middle, all the manipulation of the
dark age.
knowledge, right? The Vatican having maybe they have the tablet, they have everything, they have the antikythera mechanism, right? And all the other knowledges which was hidden or taken away, right?
Well, that's kind of what I think. I think somebody's got all of these things. I really do. And the rumor has it that there's miles and miles of catacombs underneath the Vatican, full of ancient books, full of history that they won't let us in on, that they probably haven't even gotten to currently in this timeline.
Oh yeah, in Paris, also here in Spain, many cities are full of it.
Right, right. How about the catacombs with all the skulls in Paris? Like, where did all those skulls come from? Thousands, right? Thousands and thousands. Yeah, let's build walls out of these skulls because we got nothing. Because we don't know what to do with all of them.
Exactly. So this is the thing. He sells a lot of alien, and he makes that all the religion are are following aliens, right? So he speaks about Christianity with 2.1 billion people worship Jesus. Well, Jesus says in John, And he said unto them, you are from beneath, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. That's the first biggest religion, Christianity, where he says that Jesus is saying this, that he's not from here and we are from here, right? And the second biggest religion is supposed to be Islam. 1.3 billion people believe that Prophet Muhammad was meditating in the cave by himself when angel Gabriel, who said that another alien encounter, right? The third biggest religion, Hinduism, 851 million. They all believe that whole the cosmos is populated by numerous deities and spiritual beings, gods and goddesses. Buddhism, 375 million. People are in Buddhist deities, they say, are certain branches of a largest Buddhist tradition, including the Mahayana, include a varieties of god and goddesses that say they are not from this earth. The Mormons, 13.5 million people who says that the angel Moroni was not from the earth. What do you think? Are they aliens, Gene?
Nah, I think they're spirits. If a spirit walked right in front of me, I probably could look at it like an alien. If
According to him, these people were just more intelligent and they took the information and the technology and the wisdom and then they manipulated the humans, right?
yeah, right. To put it, make it scary and out of this world. But no, you see, this is why they gatekeep this stuff, because we should be able to understand these things and be able to communicate this stuff better with these spirits. And maybe there is very certain little ways that we could be, by guide of the moonlight and celestial events to guide us through this, right? Stars are for symbols and signs, right? So that's what I think. That they're hiding the keys to how to look at the stars.
Oh yeah, but the curious thing is that all civilization or race in the creation story have there's a divine intervention, but if we don't know that if these people are really manipulators or they were really spiritual beings or so it just put the whole concept more confusing for the people. For imagine somebody is too religious or too atheist or in the middle, this is gonna put more hay to the fire, right? In a way, all this kind of gatekeeping information, right? I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it could be, but I believe there have to be interaction between races, right? Beyond the land, above or below. If they're manipulators, if they're advanced, they have more technology than us. I don't know. If they're gods, we all are seeing. We know there's a creator, right? But what's happening here, right?
Well, I think there's different angels for different tasks, and they can team up with us or against us and give us weaknesses and strengths and communicate with us in ways that might be hard to interpret if we're not taught to. Might look at it as like, oh, an intuition, a flash of thought that you had right, kind of. They do come in like a flash of thought, oof, but you got to know how to identify it. That's what I wonder if there's probably the diet we have is throwing that off. Is throwing our internal magnetite we have to keep our north natural for us. They're throwing all of these things off in subtle ways, like the sound frequency, the visuals on TV, the content on it, the school, the fake science. This is all heliopsychosis, guys. And I think the 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 further we get, I think the more it will show in people that living in outer space has the potential to really drive you crazy in ways that you might not know because it's a fake world. And I think a lot of people that kind of tend to lean into that idea of it's almost like statism. It comes from the state. It's all school, force-fed federal knowledge of garbage. So when you put your life stake and all that time you invested on remembering all those things, it's probably hard to let go for some people. But I'm lucky, I guess. Wasn't for me.
Exactly, brother. This is the thing. The Antikythera mechanism opened, blew up things, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. For me, bro, that was one of the biggest things: the hidden or unknown history and just how far advanced it was. When that started sinking in more, it really stuck for me. 1,400 years with no history. Wow. All the possibilities around that. It's going to be a while before I let go of that. And I'll never let go of those thoughts. So I probably won't have answers. But right now, you know what they're doing? With all the TV and school, they're trying to make us think that we're going to be the Jetsons, that we're turning into the Jetsons with all these advancements. And meanwhile, really, they are turning us into the Flintstones.
Oh yeah, looks like that.
Right? They teach us we're at the top of society right now in historical terms too, that we are the best, the pinnacle of humanity exists right now. And I mean, it's not really true. They're taking this stuff away from us. And just look at the architecture. You can tell the civilization's declined by the shape of the architecture. They're turning everything into black boxes all over the place. Even the glass, it looks black. And in comparison to those old stone buildings, the churches, cathedrals, and the federal buildings all over, the state buildings all over the place, the post offices, court buildings, police stations, libraries, zoos, all of those official buildings are just, some of them are stunning. If you have guys ever been to the Bronx Zoo or the Brooklyn Zoo, there's some crazy stuff in there. Maybe this summer I'll try and get down there and put it on film for everybody. We'll talk about that a little bit. Just the zoos. Manhattan is loaded with mud flood stuff, and so all the cities around it for at least 60 miles, 70, 80 miles. The towns surrounding Manhattan are definitely mud flooded. So we'll have to talk about this missing history, and these emerald tablets ought to be shouldn't be in the hands of these gatekeepers on TV, I guess, as much as they are. But it's cool because you know what? We'll get information and we'll weed it out, and this truth surfaces. Right, guys?
I, exactly, and the word tablet, right? The tablet, the cloud, right?
Oh yeah,
The
really.
right, it all
Oh, Dr. Frankenstein mentioned to me earlier that tablet is, what pharmaceutical industries prescribe to us, in the form of aspirin tablets and this tablet, blah blah blah. So very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Frankenstein.
oh yeah, if I have something I remembered from where I don't remember exactly because they speak about the black mirrors and we are using the black mirrors now like it's like a magic ball, right? Or a magic glass, right? So and they speak about like when they have the reset you even some of the people remember that, and they put in stories about the black mirrors and now they have some memories before the reset because all these technologies have been used before, right? And it's there in a way in our genetics, some things, right? And some remember and they put in the stories or in their studies, right? So could be totally possible, right? That all this technology and much more would have existed because also for example the genetic engineering, right? The genetic engineering is if we speak about, as I mentioned, you remember gen isis, right? Genetics, genesis, right? Born from a virgin, right? Also born from a virgin could sounds like a technology. Sounds like an insemination, right?
Right. And you know what? There's other people that were supposedly born a virgin also back then, like Mary's grandmother or something like that. So yeah, it does. It sounds like artificial what is that called? Sorry. Artificial.
Insemination, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. I don't know, but hey, there's also kind of an interesting connection that I've noticed is that Washington D.C. is the birth of a nation, right? Right in between Maryland and Virginia. So just the similarities and they kind of striking to me sometimes, and I didn't notice that. I heard that, and I'm like, oh wow, look at the reference there.
Exactly, and all the different cosmology ancient they have figures of different animals and humans and all different combinations, you know
Vinyl
whoever
Mothman, bro. Is that you talking
exactly.
about like combination between man and animal, human and animal?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
or
right away. I think of the Urbano Month map when I think of that stuff now, and how many movies do they try and show us that in?
exactly, and people with powers, right? Or different abilities,
Uh,
right? Why not?
right, all the superheroes that could fly and talk to animals, with special, abilities and weapons and defenses and mindsets that can read minds, see too far, fly by themselves. You know, all of this stuff. Right? That's what these guys get this stuff from history. They don't just make it up. It's very hard to be creative because it's all been done. You know?
Exactly, and surgery and medicine and the phytotherapy, right? All the medicine from the plants, which would have been much more, right? More
Uh,
varieties of plants and trees.
sure, bro. The diet alone, the diet. I think diet is what sends us to the doctor anyway. So they would have had us on a better diet that would have kept us away from the doctors and needing remedies for anything. I mean, sure. I mean, if you got stuck with a thorn and you're allergic to it, maybe you need a little help there. Or if you fell and broke a leg, yeah, that's real medicine. You need a little help there. Other than that, I think all of the sicknesses were mostly preventative and, not even hardly worried about. They're pushing this stuff on us
Exactly, and
so hard.
they that Noah lived for so many years, the other God lived for so many years, right? The people who were more big, right? They themselves are admitting.
Yeah. Well, I think they create the cure and then the sickness somehow. Because I don't think they're going to let some sickness out that they can't cure themselves of. That's how I think it goes. And that would be under the alchemy, all this pharmacy stuff. And how they just twisted it and perverted it all to work against us. Just like the sound, like cymatics is sound healing frequencies, probably preventative as much as healing. Probably more preventative because I just
I
don't
think
think.
it's more about prevention than
Mm,
cure, right?
yeah, right, bro.
And this is the thing, the nature, Mother Nature nourishes us, protects us, right? Feed us and heal us. So I think that it have to be exists only in the places we can go already exist so many kind of plants that even the disease that in the future would come already have the
Oh,
cure, right? In the trees, the nature is very wise, right? In that sense. uh
well, you know what? It makes me think that they couldn't create something bad enough that nature couldn't cure somehow, right?
oh yeah, that's why it's the manipulation of uh we don't want to use so many hot words, but yeah, you get it, right?
Yep, yep, exactly. We just went through it all for the past couple of years. No, I can tell you guys when I'm hanging out at my buddy's smoke shop, I talk to everybody about it, and they don't. He doesn't mind either. He loves it. He wants to hear more about it. Both brothers, two stores, and so they're like, yeah, bro, go do your thing. One of the brothers calls me President Gene. He's such a cool dude. Two brothers from Jordan, really, really nice guys, and a lot of people I talk to are right on board, and people are even adding things that I'm not getting at yet, and I'm like, yes, you're there, and the conversations are going really, really well. I love it. It's so cool. And I don't get a lot of people just like look at me like I'm nuts or whatever. Not at all. It's a lot of fun. It's very inspirational. Be able to get out there and talk to people one on one and one on three and four and five or whatever. It's really cool. Some people come back, start pick up where we left off. All kinds of good stuff. So
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
saying, it's just nice to see that there's not a lot of opposition in my end of it right now. Not much at all.
Oh yeah, it's synchronicity, brother, and in the flow, right?
Bro, it's just really cool. You know, once
Exactly. And you
the
were, yeah, go ahead.
one place I could put videos on, so I go in, I'll play all kinds of, I play art videos, the flatten the curve, mechanical realm, all kinds of channels on YouTube that I like, and but the other side kind of wants music on, which I told him, I'm like, man, music's irritating, bro. And I talked to him about the frequency and why and how. I'm like, I don't even like my own music anymore, man. I don't really listen a lot, but
Exactly,
yeah.
brother. As you mentioned, also kymatics before. This also is technology. This is
Mm.
science. This is real knowledge, right? The patterns, the healing with the cathedrals, right? This is was right there, is right there, but the people don't want to see it, right? You start speaking about frequency vibration, and it's just the people go haywire, right? Uh, uh, or you use the Kundalini awakening or chakras, but it's the same thing, right? The frequency, it's the same thing. It's kymatics, right? Chakras are wheels like gears and pedals and patterns, right?
Yeah, and they react to certain things certain ways.
Exactly. And depending on the different frequencies, it can be healing or it can be harming, right? Because you guys saw that, right? Because in this movie from the Obama or something, and there was a sound. Apart from the sound of the video, it had some low frequency sound that the people couldn't hear, but it was affecting the people. Many people who saw the movie were
That
like
new Netflix
feeling
movie?
strange. Yeah, yeah,
Really? I didn't
yeah.
see it yet.
Even me, I don't want to see it. Right?
Oh, yeah, right. I'll skip on that one, man. Oh, wow. See, these guys are not playing around.
Oh yeah, they're not playing around. They know, right? They know what they. So this is just one of the other things, right? They could use that we cannot even imagine that exists, right?
No, it even talks about things like, the guy that wrote Avatar who got the ideas from the Emerald Tablets, I heard. I got to look more into that. This is really fascinating stuff. I'm gonna start trying to learn more about this because it's pretty crazy. I like the older the better, right?
Exactly. And then the weather manipulation, right? You don't know how advanced gonna get the holograms you spoke about, right? The blue beam.
Yeah. All right. So you guys know that there's, there's barium and strontium are two of the main ingredients in high grade military holograms, and you know where that's all over the place, right? I'm not gonna say falling out of the sky, right? But I don't know. Is it suspicious? Yeah, there's like so much circumstantial evidence. That's the problem here, guys, right? A lot of it's just a little bit circumstantial or very circumstantial, whatever it is.
Exactly, and weapons like not nuclear, but something potent, right? It's also
Yeah.
absolutely possible, right? That
Yeah, like a sound gun or something. A heart attack gun. They have that. I'm pretty sure, right? You could probably go look that up. A heart attack gun.
oh, yeah, it's
Sounds like
done, right?
cartoons, right? But nah, bro, there was a cartoon in the '60s in the States at least. I don't know where else, but it's called Underdog. And Underdog was fighting this crazy scientist all the time who was trying to kill everybody. And the weapons he had are things that they're using today. So many of them. He had one episode called the Phony Boots when they took the old standing phone booths and changed them into this mind. When you walked in, you walked out, it changed you into like a zombie. So that's to me is like interpretation of the cell phones today in a way. But there's some. He had the snow gun. He could turn people into snowmen, and he had the snow all across the towns. Crazy cartoons from 1962 or something crazy like that. So it's all
Oh
they
yeah,
know this
brother. It's
stuff.
real.
What?
Yeah, it's real, brother. It's like we
Yep.
can see the effect. We can see it happening, right?
Yep.
And also in the Vedics, they speak about weapons which could be activated by sound, by mantras.
Vibration. Well, aren't they hovering things like drops of water, maybe, and they can lift plates and stones with vibration now? Speakers and like sound systems, right? Isn't that really going on right now? How to manipulate it better is kind of on
The
the
mag-
way, I
you,
suppose.
you, sp- you're speaking about magnetic levitation, are you?
Well, there's some of that, yeah, but there's also sound levitation too going on, I think, where they're lifting
Oh
like
yeah, right,
plates,
right,
right? Yeah, some more or less
exactly.
vibration, almost like the cymatics when you drop the salt on a plate hooked up to a speaker and change the sound. You get different patterns. It's similar to that, but now it's, I guess, I don't know, stronger or just left of that or whatever you want to call it. But now, yeah, lifting things now, keeping drops of water in place. And then, bro, you remember we talked about there's an experiment or two on YouTube where they hook a hose up and put the hose in an arc where water's actually curving out of a hose, and then they put a speaker in front of it that I guess is loud enough to distort the water and make the water do some really cool stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, I know what you're speaking. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
This is
that's
the thing that there could be like the magnetic levitation and the sound levitation, right? Like for the bees, right? Because someone wrote flies fly
uh,
with vibrations, right?
right.
I don't know if it's the magnetic levitation or it's the sound levitation what they are using, but there is something going on there.
I remember
And
you
what could have they done?
in your video. It's they're calling it a harmonic resonance that encapsulates the bee and sort of puts it in this field that it can fly through straight through 30-mile-an-hour winds in the rain without getting wet, right to its point B. No, quite right. The navigation is phenomenal. They have that little tiny piece of what is it, hematite, magnetite, that navigates all kinds of animals, birds, um, sea life, all kinds of migratory animals are navigated by that little system. So, right? That was in your video, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, because they also, it's also the vibration. How many times the frequency of the vibration is that creates because of the wings? Because some globers say, "Oh, why is it moving the wings? It's moving the wings to go against the gravity." No, the wings, the frequencies that it's required to achieve that resonance you said you spoke about.
Right. I'm so looking
And
forward to spring.
these are the thing that they're energy weapons, right? As Robin says, energy weapons, right? There could have been that all this petrification could be some kind of weapon, because they speak about in the Hawaii Islands that whatever happened, they found a frog which was fossilized instantly,
Right.
right? How can you get a fossilized by a weapon, right? Either you crash, right?
Really.
So who knows that they already had those weapons which they killed all these giants or other races that got or the giants get got petrified or the trees got petrified, right?
And look, bro, look at the marble carvings from the 1700s. That it's like gorgeous, flawless, beautiful sculptures of people, right? With the you know the ones with the lace garments on, carved in marble, like flawless. And you know what's funny about those? There's no or maybe there are. I just never seen any. Like a lesser work that didn't exactly look like a beautiful, flawless piece of marble. What did it just like look so bad it didn't make history or something? You know what I mean? There's no same with the anti-cathara mechanism. There's no machines with 15 gears in it or five. There's none of those marble statues that are like, nah, it's not bad.
Oh no, these marble statues are out of this world, brother. You
Bro,
see, right? It's
that's so crazy. And they say I think they rub pumice to get them that smooth. Like, oh, Jesus.
sand with maybe a sandpaper, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like a grinding stone used by hand. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. I think to believe that. I can't. I just don't
The the
understand.
high the hieroglyphs, for example, they look like laser perfections, right?
Right?
Even
The
if we speak
relief.
about those exactly,
And how
and
about
those
the statue
stone.
of Ramses, bro?
Oh yeah,
Right? You guys heard of the statue of Ramses? It's like book page
right.
match. The left side is the exact same as the right side.
Like totally symmetrical, right?
Yeah, it's perfect match. I forget. I don't remember how big it is.
And the stone technology, right? How they fit the stones in the Machu Picchu and all this. You see those stones like looks like interconnected, right? Because this technology looks like would have able to melt or make the stone at a frequency that becomes malleable, right? It's possible, right? Sounds totally sound fiction for us, but it's absolutely possible because also some of the temples are literally cut into mountains, and some are
Petra.
or Petra, for example.
All right.
But there are many temples that are like complex, totally huge complex built into stone, right? With some amazing precisions, right?
Yeah, there's one rumored to be in the Grand Canyon, able to fit 50,000 people in it, being hidden.
Exactly. And then we also have got the Vimanas, right? Aerial technology. How did they communicate? How did they share similar knowledge?
Right? How do they know to position these buildings?
Exactly at the spots, right? The right
Sure.
spot.
Yeah, things like the Nazca lines. That's the aerial view. Even the Great Pyramid has eight sides that nobody knew about until it was an aerial view, because you can only see it for like a minute when the sun hits it right twice a day. I think it's on the equinox. I mean, twice a year.
Oh yeah, these are supposed to be also markers, like the same way. is to mark the sky, right? The sky in relation to the earth below, and all these important points, even Stonehenge and many other has that reason. It's a marker in relation to the sky. That's why, uh, as I said, many people don't want to believe that the importance of the sky for for proving geocentric and stationary and flat Earth. I understand that. Okay, decoding the sky doesn't tell you what is the floor, right? The roof versus the floor. Okay, we understand that, but there is, if you really go in deeper, it has a meaning. It has a meaning. It has a purpose, and it helps decode the floor too, right? The earth too. If we understand the sky how for what it is, it it shows you what is the earth too, right? Imagine, like, imagine a realm without the sun and the moon. How you gonna, right? The night and the day, right? How you gonna know when it's night and when it's day? How you gonna know when is the equinoxes? How you gonna know when is the solstice? How you gonna know about the eclipses and the sun or the moon is in the middle, or what is in the middle? What is the shadow that is falling on the earth? So it automatically debunks a lot of stuff. If we decode the sky, it debunks a lot of stuff of the globe sphericity, right? Because everything have a relation, and that's why these markers come in importance: the sky, the constellations, the luminaries, the sun and the moon, right?
Ages.
The ages, the cycles, the calendars, right?
Yeah. The lining up of different events and even non-events, knowing exactly when you were born and how to use that information to possibly guide yourself, learn about yourself. That's cool.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
and this exactly. Go ahead.
that's like part of the map for life that they don't teach us. Important things, how to navigate life. It's part of what I talk about it over there. They're not teaching us the right things.
Oh yeah, and the whole knowledge of astrology and astronomy and all the the whole thing, how it moves, right? Everything, and it's all coded in different cultures in different ways, but it's saying the same thing as we spoke about the last week, right?
Really. And leave different parts out, which is okay because, that's what we're here to do, trying to figure all these out. And everybody has their own right parts, I think, right? This is going to fit for a lot of people.
Yeah, because it's the same, brother. In the end, it comes from one source, right?
Really. And honestly, I see a lot of people out there pretty much getting along. Not tons and tons of people, but it's good to see people pretty much getting along out there and willing to talk about the conspiracy that's on the TV and the news and science and school and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, this could have been even planetariums. For example, the Stonehenge could have been a planetarium made out of stone. That's why it's the clock, right? It's we all know, it's a clock, it's a clock. Why it's a clock? We have to understand the centric city of the earth, right? And I think it's more important to prove the geocentricity, like as I mentioned in one of my monologue, right? It's more important to prove the geocentricity than the plain earth, right? It is, we know it's plain. And all this ancient stuff that we are speaking about all points out to this, the realm, the intelligent design, the and then we have, as I said, the vimanas and all the technology that it existed, right? The dirigibles, right? There's so many other stuff they have taken away. Like even this Elon Musk is not inventing anything new. Even his hyperloop and everything stuff is also come from the old stuff, right? It's, as you said, there's nothing new under the sun, right? We just they're just telling us, as I say, like they're giving us the dumbed down version of the things that existed before, right? Uh, free
Elon
en-
Musk really gets on my nerves. Like, he just does. He's one of the worst. And people still look. You can go on his the Roadster in Space website right now and watch that live. Still, do you know that?
oh yeah, we know that it's alive, right? Yeah.
That's so nuts. I don't know. I think all their stories, is, especially the recent ones, they're just a litmus test, guys, to see what they can get away with. That's really all it is. And I think they're getting cheered on a lot less. So hopefully there's a swing coming for these people.
Oh yeah, every time I'm quite sure that we are duped big time.
You know,
Every time it's more sure, right? Like big time, apart from the flat earth and many different things, especially all this that is hidden in
well,
our face, right? Yeah.
it's a shame. It's people freak out when they say that NASA gets like about 70 million a day now. I think it is. And that's kind of shocking. If it was for me, I couldn't believe they get that much money tax free, no questions asked, and they come up with the things they come up with. It's crazy. They just lost a mission with a bunch of people's ashes to the moon, and that's almost infuriating to do that to people.
Brother, that's why also in the monologue I said, like, that's why the NASA wants everybody to look up because this is where their pseudoscience is working. That's why the people, even flat earthers, don't understand why it's important for us to debunk the sky, because this is where is their pseudoscience and the fantasy land, because they cannot prove nothing here. So everything is there, right? All their fake stuff, where they are fake formulas, their trillions of billions of miles and planets and galaxies and wormholes and uh, dark matter and all the fancy words they come up with, a supernova, and it's just all there, so we need to debunk that there, because it all comes falls apart when we do that, because this is their getaway, this is their way. So, and NASA plays a big role in that. Space is NASA, NASA is space,
It's
right?
true.
And everyone is freaking
Absolutely.
following NASA. Everyone is like
They are current
sci-fi.
event.
The movies are sci-fi. Everything, the moonlight, everything is all the money. Every Elon Musk, all is sci-fi. All is right. It's
Yeah.
because it's there. They have everybody right there, right? They don't want everybody to look here, right? And here they try to divert with other bullshit like refraction or optics or this or that or whatever, right? But there, go and fact check yourself, guys. No, right? NASA, they're freaking doing everything. They're taking all the money. They're all getting rich by themselves. Whoever's following them and whoever is promoting them, right? All the channels for the NASA sci-fi lovers, all the
Sure.
pages,
And
they all are
think
freaking
all the
making big time money. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the propaganda that they sell, aside from the money they make every day from taxes, is space is worth a lot of money. There's so much incorporated with it too. The dinosaurs, you can throw that right in there also. The evolution thing is right there. All the museums carry this idea. There's such a fortune made on this without the TV and movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Uh,
all the asteroid and all the bullshit, they're bringing some like soil from anywhere, and but people are believing the James Webb now, the moon landings and all this, and it's just such a
Ingenuity just failed after 3 years. They thought it was going to run for, I don't know, 6 weeks or something.
dude. It's more than 20 years we are listening that they're going to the moon and they're doing this and they're doing that. What the hell did they do, right? Even the globies, they can't even see that. Like now recently again, the moon mission is again to 2026. From how long they're saying and doing, right? What is Elon Musk other than doing than just like firing some rocket for some couple of miles of altitude? What the hell is, what else do you see coming from Elon Musk from space, right? Or from NASA, from all these people other than the CGI from ISS and all this, right? What is really coming out from the what, right?
I think he's a robot. I saw a couple of the clips of that guy. It was very strange. And I can't find it anymore. I stopped looking for that months and months ago. It's probably out there, I guess, but I couldn't find it. It was, I don't know. Talking about how the Emerald Tablets sounds like sci-fi, but it's ancient history.
That
Reminds me
is
of all
real.
that stuff,
Oh
man.
yeah, that's real
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
bro, they could be robots walking around as real as life right now, just like the Terminator said when the two of them are in the car, Sarah Connor and John Connor, right? Well, not well, the guy that came from the future to save her from the Terminator. And she's saying, they don't have that. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, they don't have it now, but they're from the future. And, it goes into this conversation about what this thing is, where it came from, and what it's doing. And it's all futuristic to her. So I think Hollywood is there to plant crazy seeds in our head and also plant reality in our head and mix the two. So it's kind of hard to distinguish from one from the other,
Oh yeah.
right? Because they watch all these things. They just know when they have control of the information, they have control of everything. It's also questionable.
It puts a lot of things in question, brother, because if the timelines are not right, everything is in question. Everything, religion, politics, everything, the education, everything is in question, right?
Sure,
When the
absolutely. Who's in
timelines,
charge? Who knows what? Who's really
exact,
running everything behind the scenes? What they're feeding us? And what? Yeah, bro.
and what
Everything.
exactly, and what's the real purpose of all this that the ancient have left, all the wisdom we have, because everything we have, we think that we have basis from the ancients. Everything, the understanding of, even starting from making sound, right? Alphabets, maths, right? Culture, psychology, right? And metallurgy, free energy. So it's all comes from there. These people have nothing. They have new. They have to. invent. Everything is already invented. This is feeding us slowly, slowly, and we think we are getting evolved and we're getting progress. And especially the indoctrinated ones, they think they are reaching the future, right? They're gonna become cyborgs, and
I know.
gonna have
Flying cars are around the
computer
corner.
chip, yeah, computer chip in their brains, and they're gonna a lot like yeah, transhumanism, right?
Yeah,
Crazy.
but I do wonder if it's already here. I really look at that video of Elon Musk, and it's just like, wow, look at that. He's just like was it looked like he was short circuiting or something. You know, hard to describe, but
Oh yeah, he's strange. The way he speaks,
Yep.
he's
yeah,
like literally he's like processing like he's asking the AI inside for sure.
right. Like he's almost not there. You know, and then you
He not
know what?
soul. He
How
not
do all
soul
these?
there.
Yeah, yeah. There's something else behind that guy. And then all of these guys we're talking about, we end up talking about all of these current events guys, Neil deGrasse. They all end up on Joe Rogan's show because Joe Rogan really kind of boosts these guys. I think Joe Rogan is part of the crux of their success at the moment.
Oh yeah, controlled opposition, brother.
Ooh,
Right?
bro, oh yeah, big time. You
All
know,
the awakened and the truthers and the truth seekers are following him, right?
yeah, it's funny how Eddie Bravo like branched off of that. How it went, he went the other way. I'm glad he stayed there, even if he is controlled, because he's still bringing people in. So, the controlled opposition is still good because you don't have to believe everything these people telling you. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, but the most important work of these people is to make people go off track. You could be on track for a while,
Mm,
but after again you are off track, it's no use. Again, you're lost, right?
that's a good point. That's what I mean. You got to be careful of what you're watching, right?
Exactly. And
Joe
as you
Rogan's
mentioned, yeah, go ahead.
Joe Rogan's the only guy who went from no, they didn't go to the moon, and then like a year or two later, he changed his mind and started saying things like, "Well, what do I know?" And now he don't want to talk about it anymore. So it's kind of obvious what happened there.
Oh yeah, he for sure he made his money, right?
That's what it seems like.
And he have his show, right? So
Hmm. And these guys all visiting all the time, pushing that space agenda stuff.
it's totally programmed, right? Sounds really programmed when you go through it. Yeah,
It does. Jeez.
that you go, you deny the moon landing. We're gonna give you a show. All the big guys are gonna be following you, and you all clowns are gonna be working for us in reality, right? Everybody's happy, right?
Oof.
This is the thing. This was their plan, and now it's working. And now everybody, how many million people are watching Joe Rogan, right? Joe. So
Wow, he
what?
he had the biggest podcast in the world at one time. So I mean, maybe not at the time, but he's got a huge following. Huge, because he hit some good topics. But the whole switch, and now look at his slant now with these guys. I'm like, I don't really watch him anymore. I see his clips or whatever, but that's about it.
Oh yeah, he tried to sound very legit and all this, but you can see the fakery. Yeah, in Joe Rogan, yeah, especially after that when he.
Yeah, he jumped the fence.
Cool. So the other thing, metallurgy, right? The metallurgy also is a science in itself, combining metals and understanding of the metals and the uses we know and the values, but what else they could have, what else they could contain, right? Metallurgy and minerals, right? Uh, Together, it's all kind of science in itself and what could be the possibilities, right? Because somebody was mentioning before in the chat, shungite. Shungite is a amazing mineral, right? You can't believe that a mineral could have properties like that. I wear two shungites, right? From not from now, maybe from last 10 years, right? They're amazing. I love it, right? It's supposed to be mineral that has amazing properties. Nothing is nothing magical. It's just a black stone. When it's polished, you can make it in any form. You could use as a bracelet or a locket or keychain or whatever, right? So what it does, it's supposed to be carbon 6, only element in the world that is carbon 6, right? And the properties it has is like it can even pass current, right? There are not many stones who can do that. And this stone has a frequency. You know how they found this stone shungite was in Russia, right? There was a lake, and there was a like on these rocks. This lake was around these rocks, and whoever used to drink this water from the lake used to like heal, right? So it has energy properties, like it blocks radiation, Wi-Fi radiation, any kind of radiation, right? And many other properties. Like you can literally, like if you have a pain and you take that stone and you put it, it just eases the pain. Why? Because this pain comes in waves, right? Electrical waves, right? So this thing breaks those waves and you feel, so it's many different properties. People even put it, the not the polished one, but the raw stone. If you put it in a bottle of water and later you drink the water, it literally cleans the water, filters the water, take out the metals, heavy metals, the fluoride. You literally feel the taste of the water, right? Amazing stone, right? It's just a small a stone that have energetical property. There's nothing magical or sign or any demonic about it, right? It's just minerals from the earth, right? So what else could exist of thousands and millions of minerals that exist and metals and right? So we have no idea. I'm just giving an example, right? So amazing stuff. It's called shungite stone, right? Because somebody mentioned before earlier. And as we were speaking about metallurgy and jewelry, also, right? You see some jewelry from the ancient times, man. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. It's like the details. It's so hyper detailed stuff.
Wow.
Even
God,
so,
it's
yeah.
like everything here is here for our benefit. It's so cool. Rocks can heal us, and just that's amazing. Beautiful place, and it's good to be here with everybody and unfolding all these twists that these people from the narrative have on us. You
Oh
guys are all
yeah.
warriors. You're all warriors.
So all these thing could have been, brother, comes from these tablets, or before that, maybe this tablet is just a version of that information or that knowledge passed down in all these different sciences, right?
Right, exactly. Like, bro, I was wondering how big they are, and the tablets. We have a tablet
The,
we could almost put in our pocket.
oh yeah, these one they say it's 3 to 4 foot or something each. They say, right, but they could have been copy versions, smaller versions. They even say they used to have tablets the size of a mobile phone or half, right? So it's many different.
So it makes me wonder what if those tablets were tiny to a giant that had them that could
Could
fit.
be exactly in the palms, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and what else could they hold? What kind of, if we could pull information out of the vibration of them, then that's not written in them, is it? It's just embedded in them. How long ago were they found? You there? I like to find out when they were found and where they were found and by who, where they are now. Yeah, Vicky, you were talking about shungite having its own vibration. Everything has its own vibration, right? And quartz
Oh yeah.
crystal, right? I think quartz crystal has the highest vibration of anything.
Oh yeah, it's all light reflected, right? My mic was mute. I didn't know my mic was mute before. All right, I was saying that is the people say different ideas when it was found. Something 1920. Some says it's there in the Vatican. It was. Some say that they copied and had in a text version on a document. So it's many different.
Wow.
And yeah, as you say, the crystals. Yeah, the crystals is the whole the mineral world in itself. It's millions, same like the plants, right? It's a whole kingdom, right? So
Yeah, that's magic, bro. That is cool.
and what else could have been there of we can only imagine what could have been there, right? But they also say it's the forbidden knowledge, right? They're speaking about the forbidden knowledge, the real knowledge, right?
Yeah, this is sounds like more of the stuff they really don't want out there.
They even speak about that they had those akshik record, like they call the how is the name, the halls of amenti. It's the same
Right.
like the same like the akshik record in the vedics, right? It's a similar.
Yeah. And they had someone that took care of all of that. That's cool. That's almost like the ether, how all the information is floating in the air right in front of us all the same. That's so cool, right? The tablets could have had more defined ways on how to be in that vibration of anything, of everything at once.
Exactly. For sure, and I have to have stuff, spiritual stuff too, have to be, because it's not only about technology and healing and medicine and wisdom. It's also about like uh connecting to the divine, have to be there too.
Sure. more about afterlife, which is probably one of their most guarded secrets, why they treat it the way they do in life.
Oh yeah, as I said, we are just scratching the stuff of this because we could go more detail about each of these technology and all these different sciences and connecting the dots. But I think that one of the teaching could have been this because there's different ones here. I'm gonna just see if I can go through some of the thing. It says that the thought, right, the one who wrote the book, said that this was the real stuff he wanted more than anything, right? They even say that it's gonna time when the people are gonna need this thing. And even this guy, even Billy Carson, he connects to this timeline of all this knowledge coming back and all this stuff, right? For this generation, there's something they say that is the chosen ones that is supposed to come to this. So they say long ago during his childhood, we're speaking about thought, writing about this, right? He's writing thought. Long ago during my childhood, I used to lie beneath the stars in Atlantis, a city buried in the depths of time. In that place, I dreamt of mysteries that transcended human beings over over time. A deep desire was born in my heart to conquer the path that led to the stars. Year after year, I dedicated myself to seeking wisdom, exploring new knowledge, and following my path. Finally, my soul, after experiencing the great challenges, was freed from it, bondage, and soared in the glorious leap. I was free from the bondage of the earthly men, free from the bondage from earthly men, from the body. My spirit shone shone through the night. Finally unlocked for me was the starry space. I was free from the bondage of the night. Oh, this could the whole that he's trying to say that in reality, apart from getting the material, the technology, and all the earthly things, the most important part of this tablet is the teaching of going back to the divine. Okay,
That's great.
and it's a whole like he writes a whole like a huge. It's quite deep, It's connecting with the light. It's connecting with the divine, but I think it's one of the most important one, right, of all that was there in these tablets. We as I said, we are using this tablet as an example. This could have been another writings in another version, in another civilization, in another aspect. Maybe it was written on a wall, maybe it was written on a in another way, right? So but the point is the same, that they all shared that knowledge between them, and these people have taken all this, they're using to their benefit, all this information, all this knowledge, all this technology they're using for them. They're giving us the dumbed down version. They are keeping us controlled, they're keeping us in lost, right? So we don't really understand what it's was the timeline and everything, that totally we are out of track totally, that it would be so difficult for everyone to really connect all the dots, right, it's so difficult they have made, right? But they are using it to their favor. They call them primitive. They use everything that we know of or we could imagine of, right? And so many things as we spoke about, and more of this if you go deeper in what all this technology and all this knowledge and all these sciences consist of, and how beneficial to us it is. There's so many things we didn't discuss also, like many kind of healing with different elements, right? It's so much other stuff, right? We didn't deal with real magical uh plant material, right, like psilocybin or the philosopher's stone, which can literally make you go time travel, or interdimensional travel, or be a light, or connect to these beings, or to the angels, right? It's all open out there, right? It's till we could grasp our mind that what a human could do, or what this exchange of information and knowledge and wisdom could do with these beings, or right, it's crazy stuff. And this is the thing, uh using all this, and telling that the earth is a globe and that the aliens are coming from outer space, right? And telling, showing the people, yeah, they know, they do a lot of research and they do a lot of science, right? And they don't want to accept the creation story, the real creation story, because it it's important. You have to acknowledge their creation story. If you're freaking using everything what they had and all their sciences, all their understanding, their scientific thinking, everything, but no, they were wrong on one thing, that the earth is not flat. The rest, we're going to take all, we're going to twist it and put it there, right? So everything that is being feeded to us, even as a most awake people, they think that they are watching this stuff from this guy Billy, or there are many, or Joe, or many think they know a lot, or they are connected to a lot, but it's still, I'm not saying we can know everything or I know everything. No, I'm not saying that, but we all are same in this, right? Trying to grasp what the hell is going on, right? So it doesn't make sense. Why? No, you accept everything, but the cosmology is wrong. No, that's a big, big red flag, black flag, whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, a
Yeah,
lot.
bro. That's a tough one to get around. To think that for at least 5, 6,000 years they've been drawing the same picture of the sky, and then they call it all the motions that we're supposedly going through. Not even to mention all the conditions that you need. The uncontained pressurized systems of spheres flying around after that explosion. It's kind of crazy. It's a little kooky.
Oh yeah. And somebody mentioned in the chat, like Yannick, hey brother Yannick, says Fibonacci sequence, right? Exactly. This all is knowledge of the stars that in patterns with math. It's the eternal knowledge that is encoded in everything, right? From the
Yeah,
microcosm to the macrocosm. It's have the stamp of the divine. It's called, right? It's crazy, yeah.
the artist
And it's all
signature.
exactly. It's all coded with the flower of life in different places. Yeah, they all know there,
Oh
right?
yeah, seeds, hair, the cosmos, everything. So many things.
Oh yeah, the timekeeping technologies we didn't even discuss, right? And Antikythera mechanism is just one device. How many more stuff there have to be, right? So yeah, more or less, guys, take care with the Billy Carson, right? And guys similar to them, right? What they say,
Yeah,
especially if they deny flat Earth, right, and geocentricity and the stationary Earth. So
definitely be careful what you
why,
look
right?
at.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, brother, more or less, and there are many like this who are gonna come, and because he even points out finger at some of the people, like the person who made the Book of Aquarius to make the Philosopher's Stone. So it's like taking the things, but not right. So there are, and he's really good at that, right? And these people are pushed. Why? Because that's the reason they are pushed with Netflix and all the big shows and TV shows. Is the reason they are there, because they are doing the job, right? In twisting the stuff.
Right, diverting our attention, telling half stories. Definitely be careful what you take away from anything mainstream, or anything anywhere really, even here.
Oh yeah, because I was literally, when I saw that, I was like, this guy is, how the hell you can fucking take everything from all the ancient cosmologies, and you're not gonna acknowledge what is their true cosmology, right? You know, and so when you see digging deeper, you see that it's a totally red flag, and yeah, and
Does he say anything ever about the Antikythera in his videos?
no, no, but it's very obvious. It comes from the also the ancient times. It comes from the Atlantean or before, or Atlantean at least. That it comes from, especially all the technology we're speaking about, and also the Antikythera mechanism have to be, because as we
Bro,
spoke, the cycles are so huge,
yeah,
right? And you think, yeah, even 2,000 years ago, they could have had that working gadget, right? How could have that? They have to have much more older sources working on it. And I think it also goes, there is reality to that it's everybody. Yeah, it's got the same, more or less, information, as we spoke about the mobile. A mobile is a mobile, right? Either it's made in Europe or in China or whatever, the technology. So Antikythera mechanism, we said the Greeks found the Greek version of Antikythera mechanism because it was written in Greek, but it doesn't mean that the Greek made it, right? So everything they're telling about, all the cosmology and all the religion and everything, they have screwed us in, as in the big is the timeline, right? And once you grasp that, that is a difference of all this knowledge now that we don't know of, comes from more than 30, 40, 50,000 years ago. It changes everything. What are we in, right?
no, it really, really does. And then to think that, that the things that these tablets are talking about can be interpreted to some futuristic stuff, guys. That's really crazy. It's just so wild. This opens up a whole new can of worms, kind of whole new door of information. It's like, wow, everything came from something like this, an original source of information. And it talks about a lot of things, like kinematics and holograms, like a transition of evolution, kind of, with people to robots. A
Oh yeah.
lot of wireless energy, like 0 point energies, and like living in a matrix almost. Wow. Right? That it mentions things, the kinematics and the holograms. That's DARPA. DARPA is a military agency that stands for Let me think for a second. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. That's what that is. And they're in cahoots with HARP and CERN and all those other guys.
Oh yeah, and even aerial technology have to be really awesome already, and free energy stuff, yeah, and even the batteries, and flying, and have to be a lot of stuff that already so
Right, bro? Even you might not even need batteries.
exactly. Who knows, right? Maybe
You
we
might not need,
don't need
yeah, you might not even need gears and batteries. It's just sort of like the Vermana. How'd that work?
taking from the ether. Yeah, taking from the
Right,
ether,
exactly. We're three-dimensional
or
physical
from
beings. We're planted on the ground.
or
Mm,
from the atmosphere, right? Oh,
right. Maybe some of these beings are not exactly planted on the ground like we are. Maybe they were like more like walking on the moon. Like you could jump 30 feet and land nice, right? In a less dense situation, like fish float for all sense purposes, intents purposes.
oh yeah, or sailing on the air, right? Who knows?
Exactly. Dream state, bro. Somewhere where the physical mixes with the non-physical.
Oh yeah, there have to be. There is all the ancient stuff, that spiritual part, that esoteric part that we all have inside us, and a way to connect to the divine, right? And there is a different aspect to that, right? Maybe we could call, maybe in the past or in the future, maybe it could be called time traveling, literally, right? If you go into the
Mm,
spiritual aspect of us being light, right? And it's all technology on every aspect, right? As we say, even plants are technology, right? So
sure, they're
amazing.
designed to
Yeah.
do exactly what they do. And what do they do? These guys try and replicate what plants naturally do. And that's all they could do is reverse engineer and give us these cheap copies of what naturally happens.
Oh yeah, it's a big rabbit hole, but yeah, it's good. I didn't wanted to do this one from also a long time, right? So awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah. The timelines says a lot, right? Yeah. So yeah, brother Gene, we'll have last thoughts and
Sure, bro. This is a really great show, man. Great chat. Um, I could have went on forever, bro. There's so many
yeah.
new doors to kind of look through with this topic tonight, man. So thanks so much for bringing it up, and now I can tell, yeah, you've been waiting for this, haven't you? Did you mention it last week when you were talking about how prophets and as well as Jesus was supposedly in Egypt looking at these? Right? Did you mention that last
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
Yeah.
that maybe Jesus was in Egypt, was in Tibet, was in India, like studying meditation, and like so there's different uh, speak about Jesus like this. So it could be why, as I said, no, it's
Right.
Jesus. Maybe if he was a real person, also if he really walked the earth, he wouldn't have born already enlightened, right? Like Buddha or any other gods, right? Or beings. So could have been. And even
Right.
this guy said, and Billy Carson, he says that Jesus is the son of thought, right? And they have this
Oh,
bloodline, so they're all connecting with aliens, and yeah. So
wow.
so yeah, technology, right? So it's good that we covered this one, as we said, because it's connect with all the ancient cosmologies and all the ancient art, and the sky in itself. The understanding of the sky is also really important, like for us to connect with the divine, right? It's the heavens. Yeah, we can go above or we can go below, right? The subterranean worlds, right? We can be more denser if we want, right? Or more light, right? That itself, it's whole new a whole universe in itself, right? But yeah, great. Yeah, a lot of more, as you say, like things to dig in deeper. But yeah, more or less, we could understand what we are going for, right? With all this, connecting all these dots with the ancients. Right? The ancients are fantastic, right? Yeah. So,
Oh yeah,
and this,
the older the better.
oh yeah, and these tablets could just be one of many other magical or important objects that the ancients have left, right? Awesome, brother. Great show. Yeah. And
Definitely, bro. A lot to think about now, man.
oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Good to see everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out. Good to see you.
Oh yeah, thanks everybody for being here. Hope more or less, we didn't go what like the tablets are exactly. We just, as we say, scratch the surface a little bit. What it could mean, what could be, what we understand, what we extract from all this, and how these people are twisting everything and putting it out there. But the reality is, we owe a lot, and there's a lot hidden from us in every aspect: science, technology, medicine, everything, right? Psychology, everything we could imagine, all the sciences we could imagine, is kind of like gatekeep from us, right? So we don't have everything and we don't understand everything, because that's the whole purpose, right? But if people want, people can dig in. Everything is there. People can go dig in deeper what interests them through that, and everything is there for us for that, right? We just have to filter things and see it with the right eyes, right? Because just said in different word doesn't make it right or wrong, right? It is, that's the more important, right? It's there, right? Some guides, some ways for us to at least find some connection, some harmony with our ancestors, right? Because this is what they don't want. Anyway, guys, we could have gone on forever. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thanks, Gene. Thank everyone in the chat. Love you guys. See you next week in the next episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikal Raziv, signing out, guys. See you soon. Bye. Bye, Gene.
Good night, guys.